Okay, next up with Gotham 1939 documentary is Catwoman herself. Alright, finally we get to one of the most famous cat burglars. And this time it's of course, back in the Great Depression era and such. Gotham Gaslight, there was no Catwoman per se. It's just Selina Kyle being good with acting and of course being good with the whip. As far as I've heard and looked at. And Gotham and Gaslight takes place in the old times. And this one takes place in the old times as well, but she's got the costume and everything. And I wouldn't be surprised if the costume is just not as appealing and not as sexy as it is. Not because Gotham 1919 has some of the ridiculous designs I've ever seen, but because this is before black latex and black leather catsuit clothing. Whatever. Let's see how Catwoman is played out in this scenario.
For a few, life in Gotham was plentiful and reaped nothing but rewards. For others, those rewards had to be snatched from the city's very claws.
Is that a spotlight?
Selina Kyle was one such person. Even from her early years, she had been known by the Gotham City Police Department all too well. She never quite felt like she fit in where she was born. She had lived in an abusive home and took it upon herself to run away late in her childhood. Her father had been a drunkard and a small-time criminal, and her mother was verbally abusive toward her. She felt like the people who were supposed to provide her with protection
Why'd you zoom in at the mouth?
had stolen away her childhood. It was no wonder that she truly felt at home out of that house.
Well, I'm surprised you don't go to the orphanage,
here
but
on the
okay.
streets of Gotham, where she was picked up by Miss Rose,
Miss
the most
Rose?
powerful madam in Gotham.
Who's she?
Selina became Miss Rose's right-hand woman, managing all of her establishments and taking care of problems as they arose. With this came wealth, power, and in a sense, security for Selina. Selina became a master manipulator, blackmailing many Gotham figureheads and representatives. She would put them in compromising situations, then photograph them to use as leverage to gain what she wanted. Aside from this, she was not opposed to also using
That's not really Bob.
violent force to get what she wanted. As times changed and the years progressed, Miss Rose fell out of power in Gotham. Crime lords like Falcone and Penguin took the center stage, their outfits taking over many operations. Miss Rose was caught in the crossfire of their takeover, killed by the gangsters. Selina found herself back on the streets of Gotham, fending for herself.
You didn't keep any cash?
Her safety and security had been ripped away once again. This taught her an important lesson. To be just herself made her vulnerable. It made her a target. If she was going to be somebody in Gotham, she needed to be a myth, a legend, untouchable.
A myth?
She was, of course,
I wonder who that reminds me of.
Here was someone who used his own myth to strike fear into the hearts of criminality. Someone who also didn't quite fit in.
Yep.
What if someone were to utilize that in a different way? This would allow her to avoid being vulnerable again. Even though she was inspired by the Batman, that is where the likeness ended.
This costume seems to make me think of the Brave and the Bold cartoon. Except it's not, the top was not like skin tight or anything, but the bottom had like this skirt, a really long ass skirt.
Using the cat as her model of persona, its feline attributes matched her personality greatly. She had become the Catwoman. She did not care for stopping crime, she sought freedom. Freedom from expectations, freedom from the law, and freedom from the flying rodent, as she often referred to the Batman. She wanted the freedom that, in her mind, only money could buy. Utilizing her new persona, she became one of the greatest cat burglars in the world. She would travel all over, increasing her reputation as well as her wealth. Although she practiced her craft worldwide, her heart would always bring her back to Gotham. It was her base of operations, and she could not bring herself to abandon it.
Even though
The other
it
reason
kind
she
of
frequently
sucked.
returned was because Gotham was the one place where she felt challenged. The challenge came from the Batman.
Uh-huh.
The relationship between the Bat and the Cat was a complex one.
Of
They
course.
played many a game of cat and mouse, interchangeably seeking the other one out. There is also evidence to suggest that, even though they were on opposing sides of the law, they may have shared some romantic entanglement. Perhaps the similarities between the two of them was a cause for allure, that they both realized there was a kindred spirit in the other. Perhaps they realized that neither one of them quite fit in. We may never know. During the Shadow War in Gotham City, the Batman enlisted the Catwoman's help in the fight. She was a major player in the combat that ensued. After many years as a cat burglar, and many more adventures with and without the Bat, the latter end of Selina Kyle's career took a different turn. Gone were the days of wielding a whip and stealing jewels and other precious objects. She now stole and traded in something that she considered to be more valuable: secrets.
Ooh, secrets.
Selina had become part of the wealthy society.
Secrets. Isn't that kind of Riddler's thing or some smart hacker thing or something? Her no longer using the whip in jewels. Now it's secrets. Okay, I don't know why she would do secrets. I'm not sure what's so valuable. I would assume that's just a smart guy's thing. But whatever.
Scene in Gotham through trading these secrets, the secrets of the very people she would socialize with. Some of the most rich and powerful in Gotham were held under her sway. The Batman would rely on her assistance from time to time on finding individuals or information, but she often turned him down if the need arose. She might be a criminal, but she still had a code as a professional criminal. Many years later, after the retirement of the Batman, Selina Kyle used her amassed wealth to help out the poor and unfortunate women of Gotham City.
Oh.
She went on to create and run a much-needed women's shelter in Gotham's poorer district. She used her funding, and the shelter also acquired funding from the Wayne Foundation. Even though her life was a complex web of burglaries, extortion, and other such crimes, Selina hid a heart of gold beneath it. She fought for the right side when it really counted, and while she enjoyed holding wealth and power, she ultimately used it to help others in the end. Some chalk it up to her sometimes allying with the Batman, but still more know it was because deep down, she really cared about Gotham and its people. Selina Kyle ended up being a force for good in Gotham. They say that as you age, you become who you truly are, more and more. That was the case for her. With Selina Kyle's recent passing, some remember her as a thief and an extortionist, but many more, especially the women of Gotham, remember her as having helped them at a time of need. What she had snatched from the claws of Gotham City, she had given back to its people.
Did you seriously have to put that there? Way to ruin the moment! That was unnecessary. You ruined it. Inappropriate moments aside, Selina Kyle in this, of course, is a typical thief, and I'm not sure what's with the whole secrets thing, but she contributed to the Batman still, so that's still there's that. I'm rather surprised that they didn't bring up the whole feminism stuff, which I am thankful for, because I do not like to get into such topics, because controversial topics, this controversial. If I want controversial, I just state that I hate a movie or hate a game that everybody else likes. Into the Spider-Verse. Anyway, Catwoman is pretty much a dominatrix Robin Hood, I think. I mean, she pretty much stole and she had wealth and such, but eventually she helped out other people, especially the poor guys and gals. And good on her. A thief with a heart of gold, just like Robin Hood. And of course they had to put in a few BDSM pictures. They had to do it. Which isn't really too far. I was so tempted to just put on a suit or something. But this is not one of those videos. This is just a documentary, and it's not really ridiculous. Well, okay, maybe it is ridiculous, but it fits in the context. Oh, and about the whole feminism thing, while I am glad that they didn't bring that kind of crap up, considering the time period is pretty much, well, it's a man's world kind of thing. Back in the day, before, of course. As much as I'm glad that they didn't bring that up, I will admit it probably would have helped to contribute to the time period that this takes place in. Because there's not much that really contribute. I don't really see things that would contribute aside from just photos and stuff. It's a decent documentary to watch. Catwoman is pretty much a Robin Hood. I don't think the video ever took advantage of the time period in any way, shape, or form. At least this particular one. That's pretty much one of the problems I have after just going through this. If you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And if you have a good day or night, and take care.